karavavahai tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadasivasamarambam Sankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudirayet. So yesterday, I think Dr. Sarala was reading, Savita was reading up to the Karana Sharira, right? I can go back and read this. Karana Sariram Kim Anirvacha Nadi Anadya Vidya Rupam Sariratva Yasya Karana Matram Tatswarupa Ajnanam Nirvikalpaka Rupam Yadasti Tat Karana Shariram. That which is inexplicable, beginningless in the form of ignorance, the sole cause of the two bodies, gross and subtle, the ignorant of one's own true nature, free from duality, is the causal body. The causal body is the subtlest of the three bodies and pervades the other two. It is not made up of matter like the other two bodies. Avidya Rupam. It is of the nature of ignorance. Ignorance has no shape, size, or quality. It is always related to an object. For example, ignorance of computers. But by itself, it is objectless. I am the locus of ignorance. Ignorance cannot exist without me. I exist. Therefore, I can be ignorant. Anirvachyam, inexplicable. Since it has no shape, size, or quality, it cannot be described by words or grasped by the mind. Ignorance implies lack of knowledge. It does not actually have any existence, yet it cannot be said to be non-existent. We experience its effects. It manifests as the gross and the subtle bodies, and we also experience sorrow caused by ignorance. Being nothing, it still does a great deal, hence, it is an inexplicable power. Being nothing, it still does a great deal, so hence, it is an inexplicable power. Anirvacha. Anadi. Ignorance is beginningless. If we say ignorance began at a particular time, then therefore there should have been either a void, but ignorance cannot emerge from nothing, or knowledge, but ignorance cannot come from knowledge. Either one cannot point out a beginning for ignorance. Therefore, it is beginningless. Sarira Vayasya Karana Matra. I mistake a rope for a snake. I feel scared and run away from it. Ignorance of the rope caused the notion of the snake, which gave rise to fear in the mind. which in turn prompted the body to run. Similarly, not knowing my true nature, I mistakenly identify with the finite, feel a sense of incompleteness, a desire to fulfill myself, so run after objects thinking that they would make me happy. Ignorance is at the root of all my actions. Actions give rise to results which I enjoy or suffer, and that leaves behind tendencies, vasanas, which prompt future desires, action, results. Hence, we can also say that inherent tendencies prompt actions. Inherent tendencies prompt actions. We have already seen that the two bodies, gross and subtle, are the result of actions, inherent tendencies, otherwise called the causal body, which is the cause for the other two bodies. Satsvarupa Ajnanam. I know I exist. I do not, however, know my own true nature is existence, consciousness, bliss. I think I am the body, the doer of actions, and enjoyer of results. It is strange that I know so much about the world but do not know the knower, and all the more ironic that it is me alone. Nirvikalpaka Rupam. Ignorance is homogeneous. It has no difference. It has no dualities of the knower and the known. Ignorance cannot be known. Knowledge dispels it. My ignorance cannot be different from yours. The object of ignorance may differ, but ignorance remains the same. There are degrees in knowledge, but not in ignorance. Being beyond thought, vikalpa. It is nirvikalpa, without thoughts. This is without thoughts. Ignorance can be destroyed by knowledge. Therefore, the causal body is not eternal. The self, being beyond birth and death, is eternal. The self, being beyond birth and death, is eternal. Hence, I am different from the causal body. Thus, knowing my true nature, I experience myself as different from all the three bodies, gross, subtle, and causal. Oh. Dr. Savita, you finished up till this point yesterday?
Yes, I completed causal body.
Body, right. So we're
Yeah.
supposed to start from the three
Next,
states,
yeah,
right?
three states.
Okay, so I'll go from here. The three states. Avastha Trayam Kim. Jagrata Swapna Sushupti Avastaha. Avastha, three states. Avastha Trayam, three states. Kim, what? And the Jagrata Swapna Sushupti Avastaha is waking, the waking, dream, and sleep, deep sleep states. What are the three states? They are waking, dream, and deep sleep states. The range of human experiences is wide and varied. I experience the physical world as sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. The emotional world as desire, anger, love, compassion, etc. And the intellectual world as ideas, ideals, concepts, imagination, and so on. I also experienced the absence of all of them. So I also experienced the absence of all of them. These experiences are divided into the three states of consciousness, which we all go through in each day of our lives. They are the waking, dream, and deep sleep states. Very nicely put it, right? How physical world, emotional world, and intellectual world. The waking state. The physical world, all the senses, and the emotional world related to the mind, all the emotions. And the intellectual world is that all the ideal concepts, imagination, all that included in the intellectual part. And the waking state, Jagrata Avastha Ka, Shrot, Shrotadi, Shrotradi, Jnanendriya, Jnanendriyahi, Saptadi, Vishayasya, Jnayate, Iti, Ya, Sa, Jagrata Avastha. स्थूल शरीराभिमानी आत्मविश्व इति उच्यते. So Jagrata Avastha, the waking state, Ka what? And what is this one? The sense organs of perception, Stotradi Jnanendriyaha, with the sense organs of perception like ears, etc. Vishayasya, the sense objects like sound, Jagat, Jayate, Jnayate, or perceived, Jnayate. And thus, iti, which saw that waking state, Jagrata Avastha. And then, Sharira Vimani is identified with gross body, Atma self, Vishwa, and is called, Idichyate is called. What is the waking state? The state of experience. So, what is the waking state? The state of experience in which the sense objects, like sound, are perceived through the sense organs. Like the ears is the waking state. The self identifying with gross body is then called Vishwa. Okay. So I'll read this definition one more time. What is the waking state? It's an experience, the state of experience in which the sense objects like sound are perceived through the sense organs like the ears is the waking state. The self identifying with the gross body is then called Vishwa. Waking is that state of experience where my entire personality is awake and fully functioning. I identified with all the three bodies and experienced the world through them. The waker is therefore called Vishwa, complete or all-inclusive. I am identified with the gross body only in the waking state. So, I identified with the gross body only in the waking state, not in the dream and deep sleep states. And therefore, it is mentioned that in the waking state, I identified with the gross body. It is not possible to function through the gross body without identifying with subtle and causal bodies. I cannot read or hold this book without my mind backing my eyes and hands. Since the counter of experience of the gross body is open, all transactions happen through it. Okay, since the counter of experience of gross body is open, all transactions happen through it. The objects in the waking world are experienced through the sense organs as being outside the body. The book you hold does not seem to be within you, but outside you. I act with the notion of doership, kartrutva, and thereby also enjoy the result, bhoktrutva. So this is really important, looks like this paragraph. I'll read this one more time. Since the counter of experience of the gross body is open, all transactions happen through it. The objects in the waking world are experienced through the sense organs as being outside the body. The book you hold does not seem to be within you, but outside you. I act with the notion of doership, kartrutvam, and thereby also enjoy the result, bhoktrutvam. The waking world seems to be solid and real objects. The waking world seems to be solid and real objects, and events seem to have cause-effect relationship. They have their uses and functioning according to some laws. I wake up each day to the same familiar world. I therefore give the waking state a greater reality and importance. I form attachments to objects and beings and enjoy or suffer them. However, I dismiss my dreams as unreal because I see them as figment of my imagination. So we read about the waking state. Anybody have anything to be repeated? Let me know. After reading all the state, maybe we can do the manana, I think. Okay. The dream state. Swapnavastha ketishet jagartavasthayam yad drishtam yad shrutam tad janartha vasanaya nidrashamaye yaha prapanchaha pratiyate sa swapnavastha Sukshma Sarira Abhimani Atma Taijasa Iti Ichyate. Okay. Swapna Avastha is the dream state. Ke Tichat. If asked what it is, Jagrata Avasthayam in the waking state. Yad, which. Drishtam, seen. Yad, which. Shrutam, heard. Tajjanita. Vasanaya, by the impressions born from that.
Tajjanita vasanaya.
Sorry. Tajjanita vasanaya, impressions born from that. And then Nidra Samaye, at the time of the sleep. Ya, which in Prapanchaha world, Pratiyate experience, saw that Swapnavastha is dream state, Sukshma Sarira Imani, identified with subtle body, Atma, the self, Taijasa is called. For the question, what is the dream state? The explanation is the world that is projected while in sleep from the impressions born of what was seen and heard in the waking state is called the dream state. The self identified with the subtle body is called Taijasa. So, I'll read one more time. For the question, what is the dream state? The explanation is the world that is projected while in sleep from the impressions born of what was seen and heard in the waking state is called the dream state. The self identified with subtle body is called Taijasa. Seeing is believing. Also, most of our knowledge in the waking world. Sorry, 1 second. Let me just widen this. So, seeing is believing. And also, most of our knowledge in the waking world is gathered through hearing. Therefore, the eyes and ears are the main sources of gaining experiences. So, seeing is believing. I'll read it again. Also, most of our knowledge in the waking world is gathered through hearing. Therefore, the eyes and ears are the main sources of gaining experiences. Experiences gained through them, the other senses, the mind and intellect, in the waking state form impressions on the mind. The more intense or more repetitive the experience, the deeper are the impressions formed. Again, the more intense or more repetitive the experience, the deeper are the impressions formed. The mind creates, sustains, and ends the dream world. So the mind only creates, sustains, and ends the dream world. Not only the world, but also the enjoyer of this world, the dreamer, is created by the mind. The dreamer can have an entirely different identity from the waker. The intellect has no role to play in the dream state. Also, there is no notion of doership, and hence no merit or demerit is created in the dream. One is not punished for the crime done in a dream. There is only the notion of enjoyership, bhoktrutvam. So there is no kartrutvam here, only bhoktrutvam. But again, there is no choice about whether to enjoy or to suffer. Dreams are the unfulfilled wishes of the waker or the garbled impressions of the waking state that do not require gross manifestation. One may dream of winning a lottery ticket or of a horse flying. The dream may seem strange or the sights of illogical or ridiculous to the waker, but the dreamer does not feel so. The self does not identify with the gross body then, but only with the subtle and causal bodies. The individual is then called Taijasa, as the dream world is thought created. Tejomaya Antakarana Vritti Rupatvat Taijasaha. The Tejomaya Antakarana Vritti Rupatvat Taijasaha. The dream may seem unreal to the waker, but it seems very real to the dreamer. The deep sleep state. Ata Sushuti Avastha ka aham kimapi na janami sukhena maya nidranubhuyata iti Sushupta Avastha. Karna Sarira Abhimani Atma Pragna iti Yuchyate. Other than Sushmavastha is deep sleep state. Ka, what? Aham, I. Kimapi, nothing. Janami, no. Sukhena, happily. Maya, by me. Nidra, sleep. Anubhuyate, experienced. Sushupti Avastha, Iti Sushupta Avastha is the deep sleep state. Karana Sarira Abhimani is identified with the self, causal body. Atma self, Prajna is called. Iti uchyate. Then what is the deep sleep state? The state about one says later, I did not know anything. I enjoyed good sleep. Again, the state about which one says later, I did not know anything. I enjoyed good sleep. Is the deep sleep state. The self identified with the causal body is called prajna. When one gives up identification with the gross and subtle bodies, and identifies only with the causal body, one is said to be in the deep sleep state. In that state, one experiences the absence of all objects, emotions, and thoughts. When one wakes from it, one says, I did not know anything, but the experience of happiness, I slept well. This memory of having slept well or otherwise proves the presence of I, the experiencer, even in the absence of the world. Hence, the joy experienced is one of one's own true nature. Due to ignorance, we do not know this. Due to ignorance, we do not know this, and so we awake, is as ignorant as ever. Sorry, I'll go back here. Hence, the joy experienced is one of one's own true nature. Due to ignorance, we do not know this, and so we awake, as ignorant as ever, looking for joy in the world of objects yet again. In the waking state, I identified the gross body and becomes the doer and enjoyer. In the dream, I identify with the subtle body and become the enjoyer of the dream world. In the deep sleep state, there is neither the doer of actions nor enjoyer of the world. In the absence of thoughts, there is no concept of time, space, or duality. Hence, I cannot say how long I slept or where I was in sleep. In the waking and dream states, I know I exist, but I do not know my true nature. I take myself to be the gross and subtle bodies, and the waking and dream worlds to be real. In the deep sleep state, I am ignorant of my true nature and also of the world, except for the awareness that I exist. There is total ignorance, and therefore the individual is called prajna. Prayena ajnanaha. One who is, that's called prajna. One who is more or less ignorant. The waking and dream states of each of us differs, but the deep sleep state is the same for all. The king, the beggar, the ignorant one, and the wise man all experience bliss in the deep sleep state. There are no degrees in this bliss. It is homogeneous, partless, and complete. Therefore, one does not want to come out of it. One is refreshed and rejuvenated by this state. If we are sleepless even for a day, we become distraught. We willingly give up the whole world to go to sleep. Some even take sleeping tablets to induce this state. We go to this state either from the waking or a dream state, being overpowered by inertia. The unmanifest impressions, vasanas, of the waking world manifest to push us out of this state, either into the dream or waking worlds. There are also some in between states that we experience. The sleepwalker is both awake and asleep. one in half sleep is neither awake nor asleep. The daydreamer is both aware and dreaming. The three states come and go. Each negates the experience and reality of the other two. I am the witness of these states. I stand unnegated by them. I may act like a beggar in a play, but I do not become a beggar. Similarly, I am not the role role of the dreamer, waker, and deep sleeper. I can't read that because of the print here.
It is I am not the roles I take up
Oh, yeah.
of
I
the
am
dreamer.
not the roles I take up of the dreamer, waker, and deep sleeper. Okay. So, I think we read about these three states: waking, dream, and sleep states. So, each one is our experience in this world. And the waking state is the experience that's happening to all three bodies: the gross body, subtle body, and the causal the causal body. And they form that it's mostly through the eyes and the eyes and what did I say, ears, that through those senses, the sense object that you, through hearing and seeing, it forms the impressions in our mind. And that that is the experience that everything is done outside of our body. That is why I think we are so relating ourselves to this world. Whenever you wake up in the morning, you're seeing the same thing every day and same people. So we think it is real. So that part of that self being, even though the self is there all the time, and that self identified with the gross body, that state is called Vishwa. Then we come to the dream state. Whatever that impressions produced by the in the mind, that's only one acting. The gross body is not acting in the dream state. It's the what do you call that? Impression projected from the mind, and the mind is the one person who is creator and sustaining and then ending in that mind itself. So the gross body not involved in the dream state. So whatever's being done, it's not real. When we wake up, we notice it ends in that dream world itself. That part is called Taijasa. The self-identified with the subtle body is called Taijasa. I don't know whatever I'm missing there. And the Sushupti Avastha is where the deep sleep state, where the causal body is involved and not the gross and the subtle body. And one feels very very happy that they slept well, but they do not know when they're sleeping, where they're sleeping, what they're doing, and all that. But then once they wake up only, they realize that state. So even that state also, that our ignorance plays the role in not identifying with the self. But then self identified with that causal body is called prajna. So please share your things, and I know at least when I was wondering when we're reading Tattva, why we have to read about all these things. This makes sense, right? Like knowing about our experience, why we are so dwelling on all these outside objects and senses and believing that is real part, because we are dealing with it, everything is outside. Yeah, I forgot to tell you about the impressions that's created in your.
Can you just repeat the thing on Sushupti Avastha?
Sushupti Avastha, okay, yeah. I know, I only read it once. And also they talked about a lot of differences here in the Sushupti Avastha after that. Oh. Okay, Sushupti Avastha. Then what is the deep sleep state? The state about which one says later, I did not know anything, I enjoyed good sleep, is the deep sleep state. The self identified with the causal body is called prajna. When one gives up identification with the gross and subtle bodies and identifies only with causal body. Again, when one gives up identification with the gross and subtle bodies and identifies only with the causal body, one is said to be in the deep sleep state. In that state, one experiences the absence of all objects, emotions, and thoughts. When one awakes from it, one says, I did not know anything, but the experience of happiness, I slept well. This memory of having slept well or otherwise proves the presence of I. So again, the memory of having slept well or otherwise proves the presence of I, the experiencer, even in the absence of the world. Hence, the joy experience is one's own true nature. Due to ignorance, we do not know this, and so we awake as ignorant as ever, looking for joy in the world of objects yet again. In the waking state, I identified with the gross body, become the doer and enjoyer. In the dream, I identified with the subtle body and become the enjoyer of the dream world. In the deep sleep state, there is neither the doer of actions nor the enjoyer of the world. In the absence of thoughts, there is no concept of time, space, or duality. So, in the absence of thought, there is no concept of time, space, or duality. Hence, I cannot say how long I slept and where I was in sleep. In the waking and dream states, I know I exist, but I do not know my true nature. I take myself to be the gross and subtle bodies and the waking and dream world to be real. In the deep sleep state, I am ignorant of my true nature and also of the world. Except for the awareness that I exist, there is total ignorance, and therefore the individual is called prajna. Prajna. So, prayena ajnana. One who is more or less ignorant. The waking and dream states of each of us differs, but the deep sleep state is same for all. The king, the beggar, the ignorant one, and the wise man all experience bliss in the deep sleep state. There is no degrees in this bliss. It is homogeneous, partless, and complete. Therefore, one does not want to come out of it. One is refreshed and rejuvenated by this state. If we are sleepless for even for a day, we become distraught. We willingly give up the whole world to go to sleep. Some even take sleeping tablets to induce this state. We go to this state either from the waking or dream state, being overpowered by inertia. And the unmanifest impressions, vasanas of the waking world manifest to push us out of this state, either into the dream or waking worlds. I'll read this line again. The unmanifest impressions, vasanas of the waking world, manifest to push us out of this state, either into the dream or waking worlds. There are also some in between states that we experience. The sleepwalker is both awake and asleep. One in half sleep is neither awake nor asleep. The daydreamer is both aware and dreaming. The three states come and go. Each negates the experience and reality of the other two. I am the witness of these states. I stand unnegated by them. I may act like a beggar in a play, but I do not become a beggar. Similarly, I am not the roles I take up of the dreamer, waker, deep sleeper, and deep sleeper. Oh, yeah, that's it. So again, the one more thing about the Sushupti thing is about how it is homogeneous. It's not different from person to person. It is same for everybody for that deep sleep state.
Deep sleep state is like basically it is ignorance. No, only that awareness that I exist.
That ignorance is still there. Yeah.
Yes, ignorance
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
my nature and of the world both.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I don't understand this unmanifest impressions of the waking world manifest to push us out of the state, either into the dream or waking worlds.
The previous the impression or the vasanas of the like what we
That
are born
created.
with, we are already having those vasanas. So of the waking world, they manifest to push out of this state, from this deep sleep state, either into the dream or the waking.
Mm. Yeah, we read it
Otherwise, we
earlier
keep on
also.
sleeping. The
Yeah,
vasana, like vasana, it is not vasana that I think here that it is related to some like vasana of their vasana can be of eating also. No, you have tendency of eating, you to live you have to eat, so there is an impression. That is why the child who is born, he has that vasana to feed himself, so he starts sucking the milk. So it is the inherent tendencies which we they are in us. So, these tendencies, they tell us now that as body, if a person is in deep sleep always, then he will not survive. So these inherent tendencies, they tell you now, like it is
Time to
time
wake up.
to wake up, and to because when in the early morning when you get up, and
True,
after a
yes.
while you start feeling hungry. So it is these vasanas which tell you that you are feeling hungry.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was just wondering because the earlier we read in the waking state where the objects and the senses, they together create that strong impressions, right? Like when you do see something or hear something repeatedly, or you go over it, and it forms the impression in your mind. That is different from this vasana.
no, I think vasanas are the same.
Go ahead.
It can be related to objects, situation, experiences. Like it can be related to our mind. Like if a person is fond of doing maths, so he is having that vasana of calculation. Like he enjoys calculations, and if he does it, it can be related to our sense organs, that pleasure seeking, and it can be towards our body, too much importance given to our body also. Like some people, they are over obsessed by their bodies, so uh, they do that. No, they eat, then they vomit. So it is like all these can be said to be vasanas. Vasanas are the inherent tendencies which we are having from so many lifetimes. And even that, if we talk about the mind, it can be like in a positive way also, it can be in a negative way, like that uh, fear is the commonest. So it is again a tendency of the human mind uh, to have that feeling of fear of it can be anything related to our own body, our relation, and our status, fear
Mm.
of losing, yeah, fear of death, anything like it can it. So I think it is the unmanifest impression they push you so that you come out of this deep sleep into dream or waking. Like this is what I was relating to it. This
I agree. Like it's somewhat like otherwise, as you said, you get sleeping forever. Something had to
So
happen.
scientifically, we learned about the reticular activating system,
Mm.
which is what
Right.
shuts off when we go to sleep.
Mm.
And then there's something that triggers that it gets activated again.
Mm-hmm.
And very nicely explained by Dr. Savita about the hunger, urges for hunger.
Right. How the child.
That is one of the basic impressions that everyone has.
Mm-hmm.
Even as a baby, if you notice, the baby feeds and sleeps and again wakes up again only to feed again.
Mm-hmm.
It is the hunger that initiates the wake cycle for the baby and starts crying.
True.
So this is very physiological.
Right.
Also, I think vasanas depend upon our impressions, depend upon what kind of balance we have between sattva, rajas, tamo gunas. People who have a lot of rajas, they're riddled with a lot of desires. They don't even go. They have difficulty falling asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Forget about going to deep sleep. Getting to sleep itself is difficult.
Mm.
So
True.
the fewer desires we have, the lesser impressions we have, the deeper is our sleep.
Mm. Yeah, somewhere earlier we read, right? It is the object, desire, and the action. Mm. that those three things are not in the deep sleep state.
Correct.
Earlier we read that.
Yeah.
So, like you said, that's so we are devoid of all those things, then you can have a good sleep.
Correct. That is why they say 4
Mhm.
hours of good sleep is equivalent to even 20 minutes of good meditation is
Right.
equivalent to 4 hours of sleep. And
Mm.
people who are regularly meditating, their requirement of sleep, the duration of sleep comes down.
Yes.
How come, Gurudev and all of them, they sleep just for a couple of hours?
Mm.
Whereas regular people, like everybody else, is supposed to sleep for 6 to 8 hours.
Mhm.
Because in this sleep wake cycle, scientifically also, when you look at it, you have the REM sleep and the non REM sleep.
Mhm.
So the non REM sleep is where you go into a deeper level, deeper state.
Mm.
Most likely it is the Sushupti. So we have these cycles going up and down. So in order for us to have that deep rest, we need to go through the REMs, the non REM sleep.
Mhm.
Whereas that gets it comes instantaneously or so for these people who are regular, all the regular meditators. They just slip into deep sleep very quickly.
Yeah.
So even a short duration of this deep sleep is very nourishing, very refreshing.
Mm.
Which is why it was said, if one day you don't go to sleep, you will forget about everything else. Nothing, even if there is, the most precious thing out there, you would not want to go there because your the the need is to rest and sleep.
Mm.
You will find the nearest, even if you don't find a bed, you will just sleep off on the floor.
True. Then, yeah, you can, especially when the deep sleep state, they don't know where they are sleeping, right? Yeah. Like it said, one thing it said was homogeneous and it's not different from, especially if they do get into deep sleep state, it is same for everyone. Isn't that nice? That
It is because it is the Anandamaya Kosha, and
yeah,
that is uniform for everyone.
uniform for everyone. But then yet we don't.
Individually, vasanas may be different, which are different from one person to the other. That is why we have different personalities. Your dream is different from my dream, but the
True.
Sushupti state is uniform for everyone.
But then yet that part we are not realizing it. That true nature.
Is because
Mm.
of that layer of ajnana, because we are still in
Ajnana.
just the karana sharira.
Causal body, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're still bound by that identification with that body. We don't identify, but we are there in that state,
State.
that level.
Yesterday, Dr. Savitha was asking that question, right? Whether the causal body, when the person dies, the Atma goes with it or not. The difference actually, I read in the last part, I did the part of Karna Sarira, where it said the causal body is not eternal, right? It is also, um, so when you compare the Atma is eternal. So given that the causal body is separated, even though that it goes out of the body, the Sukshma Sarira, I think if the Atma is it's not with that one.
Because the cause of the causal body is ignorance.
Ignorance, yeah.
So therefore, it has no beginning. Although it doesn't have a beginning, it has an end.
Mm. Like that impressions, like Vasana, she was talking about it, right? Where that comes with that causal body. I think it's so. I say again. I was wondering why we have to read this again and again. Like it makes sense, We have to understand ourselves first to really to understand this our true nature. Uh, Without knowing it, We're going to dwell in the same old problem, I think. I wanted to say something, I kind of forgot. Anyway, do something. So please share your thoughts, all of you guys, like today, I'll give 2 more minutes.
Actually, we decided that last 10-15 minutes we will ask questions and revise.
Oh,
So
sorry,
let's
sorry.
just, yeah. So 15 minutes before, let's stop the reading and then we can
Okay.
do some questions. So just to revise our definitions.
Tomorrow,
ultimately-
I'll definitely will stop
Fine,
it.
fine.
So today, you have any questions or anything to?
Just one thing, what
Mhm.
I was thinking, that what
Mm.
we as a sadhak we have to do is that we have to work on the causal body. So, and for doing work on the causal body, we have to be alert in the waking state, and so that it is there where these tendencies they are getting birth, like they are arising, and when we repeatedly doing something which we are enjoying, then that becomes yours, in your sanskara, or you can say your tendency.
Yeah,
So
true.
it is that
So,
waking state which with in which we are, we have to be alert at that, so that we do not make some tamasic or rajasic tendency, we do not make new ones. Previous we are already having. So it is like, so the waking state is so important. I was just thinking, how can we change our causal body? So we cannot change. It is already there. It is that in this life we can add some positive things, positive tendencies to it, like reading this Vedas daily. So we are making a newer tendency, and it would be carried in the next lifetime, and then we'll be enjoying more than this time. So it is like how we are uh, making this journey more uh, fruitful and more, you can say, sattvic. Yeah.
I think we can close now.
Close it, yeah. So do you want to play anything, Dr. Brahmara? I don't know which one. Maya Panchakam or is this one?
We can do the meditation.
Meditation.
Are you able to play that?
Let me see. I think I didn't open it. If you don't mind, I'll try to do it myself. Okay, hold on.
No problem. Let me do it today.
Loka Sikino Bhavantu. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Share Dr. Brahmara.
Meditation is accepting this moment, living every moment totally with depth. Let us keep our spine erect and body relaxed and eyes closed. Relax your shoulders. Keep a big smile on your face. You're sitting like the statue of Buddha, very serene And with a serene smile on your face, relax your body. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your chest region, throat and chest region. If you notice some tension in the body, just let it be. Except those parts of the body where you feel a tension, the other parts are in comfort. Other parts are at peace. Become aware of that also. There are many good things about you and inside of you. Acknowledge them. They will never leave you. And the negative aspect you may see in you is never going to stay with you forever. They are all guests for some time. Let them be. Sit with the total acceptance of yourself the way you are at this very moment. Total acceptance of what is now here will lead us to deeper meditation. Let go of all the efforts. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let go of all your effort and be in this emptiness. And slowly and gradually become aware of body and surroundings. And you may gently open your eyes.